The bridge you see right now is the concrete that's
Still in the
Memorial
back of
Bridge.
the
It was basically
trolley.
Columbia Raceable Bridge. Built
Really
in
slow
20,
ride for here
basically
because
opened up in
he's going to make another
1933.
stop.
The largest arched concrete bridge in the world. This will be shut down in another, I think it's another year. We're shutting the whole bridge down for a whole year. So don't travel Route 30 bridge. It's going to be congested. Out here are the piers for the Civil War Bridge. Can you imagine what it's like? Columbia Bank and Bridge Company owns this bridge across the river. Could you imagine there's some fleeing people from Gettysburg the whole way to this bridge? We estimate anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000 African American free slaves are fleeing over this bridge at that time, just to get away from they're going to get captured by the Confederate, go back into slavery. They don't want that. They're moving. So they're moving across this bridge, not to let it, and other officials. The Gettysburg Postmaster with legacy over Gettysburg, he's on this bridge. So we could only imagine how many thousands of people were coming across this bridge just to get away from the Confederacy. Gordon's brigade sits on top of Strickler's over there, watching down everything that's going on.
So I didn't know that the $5 fee included an all-day ride on the trolley, so you can ride all day for the $5. I thought it was a $5 per ride. The gentleman is standing right there, right? Yeah, this was the lady that was talking to us.
This is going to be a fun way to ride.
So my daughter and I are now standing on the back of the actual trolley.
I mean, they have the gates right there.
It's gated right there, so we'll be safe. I've never ridden in the back of these things yet, so we're gonna enjoy the tour. I'm not gonna film it all. I might, I don't know yet, because we already did the tour once.
Oh, look at the
So,
mural on the back right there.
huh?
There's a mural right there on
Yes,
the back.
I told you. They redid the mural. Basically, all the stuff that, all the, I'm sure you can see it back there now. Might be in the reverse, I'm not sure. She's referring to that mural of all the activities that go around here because of the
It says wait for the light and open door.
Northwest River Trail here. Northwest Lancaster County River Trail runs right through. Well, this is the southern terminus of the Northwest Lancaster County River Trail, and then it takes you up 14 miles up to the Falmouth access area. If you want to come here, you can walk it, bike it. There's also canoeing, kayaking activities
yeah, they have
here.
a bar here. You said
Right over that way. I'm trying to point, sorry. Right over that way in the corner by the bridge. I'm trying to show you from this view, me pointing. I don't know if you see me pointing very well. That way, there we go. Almost underneath that bridge support over there to the right. Nope, wrong way. That way. is the outriggers or outfitters, and you can rent bikes as well as kayaks, canoes.
Yourself off either exit. You're not buying that, okay. Alright, see ya.
I love how it starts with like here, concludes the end of the tour.
Okay.
So fasten our seatbelts.
There sure is. You got tickets? You need tickets?
I like how he says this concludes our ride.
Yeah, it's awesome how he starts that. So you get right on the car and he automatically says, "This concludes our ride."
Look, guys, if only getting on the car is all you need to do.
I can set you up on a small peanut
Wait, what?
He can set him up with a 5 monthly installments, right? He's being funny now.
That's funny.
He said he can set you up on installments for the admission here.
Yeah, because this wasn't open earlier.
Yeah, he didn't open it earlier for some reason. I guess it's getting a little warmer here now, so.
So now, I've always wondered what it's like to ride in the back of a trolley. I guess the reason why they had the back of the trolley is because when this area would get full, that way people could stand
Still
up.
stand out, and it's easier, quick way to get off the actual trolley.
They also have the staircase there, so people could just get on. If this seating area is full, and even the standing slots were full, they could just go through the staircase and stand.
We
back
are
here.
still waiting to take off. We're going to be leaving shortly. They reopened the doors to wait for more people to see if they want to come on the tour. It's about really a 30-minute tour, maybe 35 minutes. We were originally told it was closer to 40, but it's all depending on any kind of traffic. We did exit before at the Preservation Society, Columbia Preservation Society, and looked around earlier, as you'll see in the earlier footages.
You know what's
and you
weird?
can see people
Earlier
coming,
when we sat down, I'm like, I'm
kayaking.
gonna go. Dad, when we were sitting there earlier, up front earlier, I'm like, I wonder if we could stand out here in the back.
Yeah, I was wondering, but until they don't open it, you can't do that. There's a lot of people coming to
And then
fishing.
when they opened it, I'm like,
Well,
yes.
and again, like I thought it was an actual streetcar type trolley, but it's still fun to ride on one of these. I've never been on them. We also have one in Lancaster City that runs as like a regular bus route.
That's what I was just thinking. That must be dead.
So
We were just saying, hello. We were just saying the other day about I wonder if she still lives.
when we come back around, we'll come see you again for the little thing. We just wanted to redo the ride again. I didn't know it was an all day ride on it for the $5. And I was like, I'm gonna take another one. Then I'll come back and we'll do the thing over there with the burning of the bridge. Alrighty. And as she's wearing right there, Columbia Railroad Days shirt. Unfortunately, I didn't purchase one yet because I didn't have enough funds to do it today, but I will be buying another one, assuming they still have extras. Next week, sorry. At the Columbia Preservation Society. They are the one hosting this. Yeah, so we are getting ready to take off shortly.
My name is Chris Beer. I'm the director of the Columbia Historic Preservation Society. I'll be doing a lecture at 3:15, so if you get on the back after 3, I'll be gone. Somebody else will pick up my place.
I want to do her thing over there about the bridge, and then maybe listen to his thing.
The crossing building, when they were excavating to build this building, they never checked really with me to see what historic property was there. It was Smith and Whipper's lumber mill.
He's repeating a lot of the same information again from when we were sitting down inside and I recorded earlier. I'm just going to pause it, and as we're riding, I'll do some footage this time.
If you look at this old post 153 over here, it used to be an AMS. That actually was a Vigilant Fire Company. We had 5 fire companies in town at one time. It's amazing. So much industry, we needed all these guys. But beautiful building. That's going to get restored by the same gentlemen that going to have the Chip Factory Hotel. So, but yeah, you can see the little arch on top of the stucco. But that will be restored eventually.
I used to be a member there.
Oh, really?
Years ago.
Yeah, they sort of went down. Well, they're over there now, right?
Huh?
They're over on Mill Street.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a plaque. We made a plaque for that. Called Fire Companies, yeah. If you see the green building up here, that was Lloyd Mifflin. He's America's greatest sonneteer, wrote more sonnets than Shakespeare. But his father, John Houston Mifflin, is even more famous in my eyes now, because we just put a plaque up there. I'm working on plaques for like a tour. You can walk and everything. John Houston, like all you cell phone people, he was his best friend in Philadelphia when they were together running a shop. In 1839, Robert Cornelius is famous for what? Cell phone people, whiz. Come on, cell phone people. He's the first person to take a selfie in 1839. Robert Cornelius. Google him. Robert Cornelius. First guy to ever selfie. The Smithsonian Institute's going to be doing a thing on Robert Cornelius soon. They came up to me. We have a ledger that actually Mifflin, his partner, actually wrote in about sending in money and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's amazing. This gentleman, who was the first person to take photographs in Georgia and South Carolina back in 1841. First person to ever take a photo of anybody down in that area. So, and also later on, it's sold to the Pennsylvania Railroad. It turns into the YMCA. And if we went straight down, the Pennsylvania Railroad actually had a water park for the families and stuff to use. For the young railroaders back in the day, you would actually go in the sleep in the bottom as you trained to be a young railroader in Columbia. So now, back in the day, every corner had a grocery store in it. You didn't have to travel far. They were your Turkey Hill Minute Market, your Sheetses, but they were family owned. We all miss it because I used to get penny candy all the time, and it was amazing.
Is that open for tours or not?
What's that?
The Mifflin House?
No.
No? Private residence?
Yes.
Okay.
There is slave tunnels inside that house.
Okay.
Lloyd Mifflin's brother told us in an article in 1836 out of actually New Era that through the car buggy port there's tunnels where they used to hide the slaves.
Oh wow.
So I mean he's firsthand account to witness that type of stuff. So it used to be the Blunston Mansion actually sat right here with a basketball court. It was a big beautiful mansion. That's where Susanna Wright ends up. She leaves the Wright's Ferry Mansion in 1760 and moves over here with her boyfriend, Mr. Blunston. So that's when William Wright, Samuel Wright, and James Wright, they all move into the Wright's Ferry Mansion with their father and other siblings. And we're almost there, that we're going to be closing this bridge soon, probably next year, for another year or 2 years, I think it's going to be closed. So I'm on the historical committee to make sure that everything's done right historically, so I'm excited to do that. Wherever they place equipment when they start remodeling this, they have to go through my research to place that equipment before they start doing anything on this bridge. So I'm part of that committee to make sure we preserve the stuff we have. So
How long is it going to be closed?
2 years.
2 years. You're right, but there's a problem out on 30. That's going to be a nightmare.
It's going to be interesting.
This was considered the Lincoln Highway, of course, back in the day. If you go up to the Domino's across the street from the Domino's, that red car sitting there, there's an original Lincoln Highway marker that sits there. Very few, you don't find them anymore, still sitting there. The Pennsylvania Railroad was so vital. Down here was the Keeley Stove Company 2 blocks down. They did 22,000 coal and wood stoves per year. Pretty amazing to pump that heavy iron out of there. And then you have the Wilson Laundry Machine Company. They were huge across the United States. Industrial washing machines, things like that. Most of these buildings you see in Columbia were a lot bigger back then. They tore a lot of the back buildings down, things like that. Just like the Columbia Wagon Works down south. They were 2 long buildings, so they tore a lot of that stuff down. So we did tear a lot of buildings. U.S. Lock and Hardware was over here. That was a big foundry. They're famous for making the York barbells, actually. The York barbell. So we had a lot of industry here because of the Pennsylvania Railroad.
Where did they mine the iron ore?
They mined the iron ore companies were up the new past the tunnel, the coal tunnel, what we call the coal tunnel. You go up the Chickies, that's where it was. Lake Kerbach sat up there, and they had basically a canal basin where the boats would come in, drop the coal, pick up ore. So it was a big system they had. But there was we know there was 4 big major furnaces up there, but it was so polluted up there. Even even Lloyd Mifflin wrote a sonnet back in the 1880s about how they were polluting all the earth all through this area. He never took a picture of that type of stuff. It was so bad.
Over at Lake Grub, Chestnut Level,
Yes.
used to be a site that also the grubs used up there for their iron,
Yes, exactly.
especially at St. Charles Furnace and all.
Charles Furnace, yeah.
Number 2.
Why was Columbia started here?
Why was Columbia started here?
Yeah, rather than like down where Washington Borough is.
Well, this is land. I mean, we were always told that John Wright comes here to Columbia to teach the Shawnee Indians his religion, which, you know, I don't see how you can teach an Indian in different ways. You know, they believe in their own gods and things like that. So I think it's just a settlement. He comes here, finds great land, finds a great river. I think it was all the GPS plus the land. You know, he's dealing with Penn's boys at that time. So, but we do have to make it back there at Black's Hotel. There was a famous cookie guy started his business 1846. He worked he was an apprentice baker. His baker boss dies in 1841. He marries the widow. They have a child. He's part of the Oddfellows Club in Columbia, the Redmond Club in Columbia, the Masons of Columbia. Then him and a guy named Wild both move out to Cherry Hill, New Jersey. They start a factory in Philadelphia. They start making cracker company. But this guy always is into cookies for some reason. His cookies are still made today, sold in the stores today. Can anybody name that famous cookie guy? It's not Famous Amos. Don't say it, Famous Amos. 1846. What is it? Nope, bigger than that. Keebler, you guy. Keebler Cookie Company. Yes, he started right here, Godfrey Keebler. I just found his original obituary that actually a guy from Columbia, A.M. Rambo, traveled the whole way to Philadelphia when he passed away to be his pallbearer. So he loved Columbia. So we would love to have some Keebler one day here in Columbia. So just to remember, but not much history. It's very sketchy.
I was under the impression that Columbia was a rough town.
Oh yeah, late 1800s, early 1900s.
Is that when?
Not prostitution. Yeah, we don't like talking about that, but people shut this for that. Plus there's little kids here, I tell you all the stories.
So that was later than
Oh
what
yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah, it was pretty bad. Yeah, we're talking pretty bad. Al Capone had a problem here. It was everywhere.
Oh, it's over.
Is there still more to the tour? This was it.
That was it.
Oh, okay, just up to the Preservation
Yeah,
Society.
we got so many people dropping all off, so.
Okay. Because I thought I said you were going somewhere else.
Nah,
Okay.
actually,
Okay.
thank you very much, Roddy. If you want to stay on, you can.
Oh,
Get another 5
sure.
minutes or so.
I'll do it again.
You are?
I liked it.
Don't
have to record anymore. The Vigilant Fire Company. They're going to restore it again. There's the Lloyd Mifflin house.
We're both crowded.
I know. I can do it from over here. I just wanted to get close.
We have his original letter from 1841 that he's actually down in South Carolina and Georgia taking pictures of people. It's like the first time they ever had somebody take a picture of him. He was partners with Robert Cornelius, which is in that ledger. Everybody knows who Robert Cornelius is, right? No, I told you before, right? Robert Cornelius is the first person to take a selfie in 1839. First selfie ever. So that's where he's famous. So Smithsonian Institute was good. They're going to be doing a big display in his tomb.
I wonder when Smithsonian's going to be doing
A
it.
ledger?
He didn't mention it, but right here, there used to be the Blunton Mansion.
The ledger is
where the daughter of William Wright ended up coming to. The rest of her brothers and other family ended up being staying at the actual Wright's Ferry Mansion.
Keeley Stove Company, the 2 blocks down here, 22,000 coal and wood stoves a year. So they,
I'm gonna have to find the Keeley stove factory down there. I gotta find out which building it actually is.
U.S. Lock and Hardware, that was a big one. They've actually, they're the ones who made that your farmhouse.
There used to be a hardware company and the laundry machine.
It was huge. Remember, if your factory's here, you don't have to pay basically shipment. Like, all you have to do is one way shipment.
The bootleg antiques.
Money. The 40 train roundhouse sat right here.
Yes,
By
right there.
1936, there's only 6 stalls left.
The original roundhouse used to sit right where this building and all these trucks are. Wow. There's a train action. Cool, awesome. There's an awesome Southern train going right by.
There was a lot of iron ore companies up there. There was a lot of
Now we gotta wait till. Yep, there he
We
is.
got a train, look at that.
Got a Norfolk Southern train. It's a big one too, because I see all the cars down there.
We saw this big one that was on the train on.
Yeah, we got that. We have to wait for the train to finally cross through. It's gonna be a little while here. Yeah. And here we're now we're gonna get ready to head back into the Columbia crossing, and we're parked right here waiting for the train the Norfolk Southern train to go by, but we're right here parked waiting at the light and waiting for the train crossing at Coffee and Cream, the old Columbia train station right here. And if you look in the corner, yeah, and it says Columbia. And if you look at the corner, the gentleman here is one of them responsible for those little plaques, for the historical, because they are going to try to do a tour and make this a little bit more a permanent thing instead of just on a day like this today for Columbia Railroad Day.
It's almost done.
Oh, nope, it's still coming.
Nope, it's almost done.
Remember, it's turning, so making that turn underneath the still.
Big boy.
I can see the car way down there still. What are you talking about? It's almost down to the Route 30 bridge. I see them still. No, they're almost done. They're almost done. There it is.
These could carry oil, right?
Yeah, usually liquids.
Look
So
like
it could be oil. It could be.
That's sheets of.
That's a flat car. That's what they call flat cars.
What
Right here.
else is carrying?
Steel sheets.
Steel sheets. What's that?
That's another type of flat car. Like metal of some sort? Yeah.
Wow. Look at the graffiti on the car.
Yeah. When they stop in small town, there's lumber. There's a lumber car. They usually have a divider in the middle.
This looks like one of the. This kind of looks like one of the train models we saw on the. This actual train looks like one of the train models we saw.
So it's kind of cool that we're doing the Columbia Railroad Day, and on the second trip around, we got some train action.
Nice. If we want to.
Get the vehicles behind me. It looks like this is the end now. And we'll be able to cross back to the crossing again.
At least you got some actual train action.
Yep, that's cool.
Big train.
This long one, I didn't count how many.
See, I talk so much, the train's going now. How's that?
And then there's the Columbia crossing over
I'm
there,
pretty
as
sure
you
the
can see.
residents here are
And
used to
then
the
the Columbia
trains.
Water Company right over there.
I'm pretty sure Columbia residents are used to hearing trains every morning.
Well, they come like
Almost
4 or 5 times a day. They don't come like
Well,
as
it's not. I'm
frequently
pretty
as everybody
sure a lot
says.
of people who live around here are used to hearing
Yep,
trains.
the gate just went up,
Imagine waking up
but
to,
we're probably at a red light, so
at least waking up. Imagine waking up to a train almost every 4 or 5 times a day. I mean, we get trains.
yep.
all
Remember to look both ways.
We still got that train that I hear from down by near the Cascade Field, and I can hear the train going by.
Now make sure you stop and grab a shifter sandwich. Anybody have a shifter sandwich?
No, what are they?
Shifter?
Yeah, what are they?
Yeah, they do have shifters in the back. Oh, you like shifters too, don't you?
Ship
They're good.
What are they?
Shifters was an engine here in Columbia that would actually move cars back and forth. But the shifter sandwich was basically designed in the 1920s in Columbia
Oh, cool.
by the Avila family before the Logan Street. It's a ham
A
sandwich,
shifter.
lettuce, tomatoes,
That's what he's
cheese,
explaining.
mayonnaise, pickles,
Yeah, they
or
had a
white
ham
bread.
shifter.
That's it.
That's what they're making over there.
That's what, yeah, that's the shifter.
The ham
man.
shifter
Yeah,
is what
that's
you
a
saw
railroad,
those
that's a
$7.
railroad suit.
Yeah.
I'll try that
Oh,
later.
dude, they're
Shifters
the
and
best.
more.
I'll try that later.
Yeah. That little girl right here, she loves them too.
Yeah.
So
I would
we're
love to have a shifter.
returning back to Columbia Rail
I
Park.
would love to try a
And
shifter,
there's-
but they're expensive.
Yeah, no, Columbia Crossing.
Why not you can make your own version of the shifter?
Well, he mentioned everything, all the ingredients that's in it. And as we said, we are
But they taste pretty good.
arriving back at the station, and I told the young lady here that we're gonna do the tour over there. She's gonna take us over to where the
Thank you for riding Rivertown Trolley,
Get one of those.
and hope you have a great day.
See if you can get one
Remember,
of
your
those.
tickets are for all day, guys.
Our tickets are
And I'll be doing lunch for Underground Railroad at 3:15.
Are they
I'll pull the
free
check.
for the day? Are they?
Well, our tickets are
Good.
good for the rest of the day, so did you want to go around again?
That was actually fun.
That was
I
fun.
would go around a third time if I could.
We can come as much as we want for the
But
5.
I'm hungry.
I know you're hungry. I told the lady I
Bullet.
would,
Bullet.
huh?
See if we can get one of the little bullets.
What bullets? Oh yeah,
How was your,
tour, awesome.
We went around
Twice.
did you like it?
It was
Yeah.
fun.
I thought it was gonna be a little longer. It felt like, because it kept on saying 45 minutes, but it seems more like half an hour. And this is the young lady that's gonna give us the tour over of the, give us a little bit more history of the Columbia Wrightsville Bridge. Or the Wrights Ferry Bridge, I guess they would have called it back then.
No, the Wrights Ferry Bridge is the new bridge over
Oh,
there.
okay.
A little
The third.
sunburn.
Route 30
Yeah.
Bridge.
That's what happens when you're out.
Out here in the sun all day, yeah.
I need it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get one of the bullet things?
Yeah, I'll do that when we come back. I don't. She said it's probably not going to be very long, because as long as we want it to be, as she said earlier.
That's right. Questions? I accept questions.
Right.
Everything. So we're gonna walk down here.
Okay.
All right. So the time in Colombia, when the war was in ruins, not the war, the country was in ruins because of the war. Colombia could care less. The people went about their daily lives like they would if today.
I'm about to
They
say.
didn't care.
Still the same way. Hasn't
Right?
changed much, I don't think.
There were drafts here in Colombia. Nobody wanted to be drafted. They didn't like the draft, so why would you volunteer to go fight? They were mad and up in arms about the drafts. They didn't want the young men and their husbands to go to war. So, in Colombia, right here where this big crossing building sits today, was Smith's lumber mill.
Yeah, we
Oh
are.
no, my battery's running low.
And he was a very, very rich black man.
Yeah, we
Yes.
Did you see it?
Did-
Did you hear it?
He kind of mentions it on the tour.
He in the historical society, they have the first down payment bank ledger from the Columbia National Bank up here on Locust Street.
Yep.
For $300.
Wow.
Today, that's a lot of. If I have $300, I'm smiling. I don't know about anybody else. Back then, that is a lot of money. That's like if you were a millionaire today.
Okay.
And for a black man, in that time, to have $300, his own lumber mill, that's crazy. Okay, that's crazy to think about. Back when black people were thought as dogs.
Dirt.
Yeah, they weren't seen as human beings. They weren't even seen as Americans. Okay, black people weren't even called African Americans because they were not Americans in anybody's eyes, even to the north. So don't let it fool you. Okay, and then in 2 grueling years in 1863, the Civil War has been raging on. Mostly down south, out in Kentucky, okay? But in 1862, General Lee says, we're gonna head north. We're gonna take the war up north. We're gonna let them see what they're doing to our southern lands. We're gonna take the war to them, and just maybe, I can end it all. So he tries. He gets to Sharpsburg, Maryland, and the Union Army says, no further. You will not go no further than here. Generally says, then we choose battle to get further. So they stop it. It was not a Union victory. It was not a Confederate victory. It was a standstill. So General Lee says, come on guys, let's move back to Virginia. More victories for General Lee happened within that time. In June of 1863, he says, we're going to go north again. So he takes his army up the Blue Ridge Mountains of the Shenandoah into southern Pennsylvania. What's the first town? What's the first town he hit in southern Pennsylvania? Gettysburg.
Oh, yes.
So his second corps was first in line. He says, General Ewell, I need you to take your second corps, go take Harrisburg. Take Carlisle and Harrisburg. And I need you to find me a way across the Susquehanna River. Ewell's like, okay, I can do it. So as they're going, right before he gets to Carlisle, he takes his one division, says, General Early, I need you to find me a way to cross the Susquehanna. Early says, okay, I can do it. With his Lee Brigade under General Gordon, because General Gordon of the Second Corps is the best brigade the Second Corps has to fight. Okay, let's just get that out there now. Best brigade Second Corps has. So they march through York unopposed. General Early says, I have taken your town hostage and I want money for it. You'll get it back as long as I get paid. To Ewell's dying day, he never got a cent for York. So he never got paid for it. That's a good thing. But then Gordon comes to Wrightsville unopposed. He's not greeted with hate, but he's not greeted with love. People are just like, what are these people doing here? Like, we've never seen an army this close. Okay? So up on this rocky site right up here, if you can see it, which is now a quarry right over there.
Oh, yes, the quarry.
It's County Line Quarry.
Yeah.
Okay? General Gordon will sit there with his men.
See that.
Yep.
The rocky thing.
Up on 625, yeah.
I see it.
So
Wow,
General
that's
Gordon will
huge.
sit there and camp with his men. His brigade of 3,500 men. That's a lot of men.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of men.
Imagine all them camping up on that thing.
That's
That's
right.
a lot of dudes just sitting
Interesting, because he mentioned over like $6,000, 6,000 on the tour on the thing.
Brigade didn't have
Is
that.
it that much? Okay.
Um,
I should know that. I was
yeah,
ex-military.
it's about 3,500 to maybe 4,000 men is a brigade size. He'll sit right up there. He's watching over the town of Wrightsville. He sees thousands upon thousands of people storming over this bridge. Now, this is not the original bridge. This bridge, the bridge is long gone that
The
they
original
used.
bridge was over there.
Yeah, the original bridge is right there where those piers are.
This is
So
1930s.
the original bridge was only like a couple of meters away from the new bridge.
Right.
I don't know why they didn't bother rebuilding the old bridge.
I'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Cool.
So we're gonna use this bridge as if this is our bridge that we're looking at in 1863. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You see thousands of people, thousands streaming across this bridge. The Columbia National Bank made $59 that day, charging people to get across this bridge. That's $59 on each person's head to get across this bridge. Okay? Until Colonel Howard goes up and says, you need to stop it. Stop taking tolls, it's taking too long. Get them across this bridge. So they did. But they did make $59 that day, and that's a lot of money on people's heads. It's either you let them go or they die, right? And it wasn't just white people storming from Gettysburg and Franklin County.
There's also a lot of African Americans.
There's a lot of African Americans coming through this bridge, okay? Runaway slaves, free slaves, people that were born free. Brian, he was a farmer over in Gettysburg. His house still stands today. He was free. He was a slave, but he was free. Him and his daughter come over here. They will never go back home. After the war is over, they will never go back home. He makes it across this bridge. The Gettysburg postmaster makes it across the bridge, but they all had to pay. So as people are coming over, the Confederates, John Gordon says, this is the day, June 28th. This is it. We're going to attack. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, volley after volley after volley after volley. Okay? Columbia got 1,000 men together. Only 1,000. And the faces of 3,500 battle-tested Confederate soldiers. Okay? Battle-tested. They've proven themselves on the banks of Antietam, Fredericksburg, Bull Run, the Second Manassas, all these battles that you hear of, Chancellorsville, they have proved themselves worthy against, over there on Wrightsville side, 600 green troops never fired a rifle a day in their life. The other 400 were over here building rifle pits. They had artillery lined up in these mountains right over here. Okay? Right? Artillery was made to shoot holes, gaps in the lines. So if you had 20 people lined out this way, you had the next line and the next line and the next line, right? They were to put gaps in between those lines and just frighten the soldiers to run back. What do you need to fire artillery with?
Horses. No, ammunition, obviously.
Ammunition. Guess what we didn't have over here?
Oh,
Gunpowder.
gunpowder or no kind of
We didn't
ammunition.
have ammunition. So we had all kinds of artillery up here in these mountains with nothing to fire with. I mean, they could have gotten nails in that and fired them. That's shrapnel.
Shrapnel, yeah.
Right? But they didn't think like that. So we had a bunch of artillery and you come fire at any of them. So our 600 soldiers over there fired one round and ran back across this bridge. They were terrified. Okay? So Gordon says, get them. He let his men unleashed. And as they were coming across this bridge, the fourth tier, and that is the space between the bridge, okay? It was a group of men of Robert Crane, John Jacob, John Miller, Jacob Miller. It was John Lockwood and John Q. Denny, okay? They went to the fourth tier. They pulled the roof down. They pulled the floors up. They charged it with gunpowder. They lit it, and they ran across the bridge. The thing was, Colonel Frick, who was in charge of the soldiers, says, "What? Did you do it? Did you do it? Did you destroy the bridge?" The bridge wasn't destroyed. It failed. Confederates were coming over. Now it's a mile-long bridge, so it takes a little bit for soldiers to get across it. So as they were coming across the west side of the bridge, it was Jacob Miller, John Lockwood, it was John Jacob, and it was Denny, who went to the middle of the bridge, put up whatever they could find. They pulled parts of the bridge, charged it with gunpowder, and it was the one black man that was an ex-slave. He was freed in Maryland. He was illiterate, living here with his wife. It was Jacob Miller. In the faces of the Confederates, he took a cigar and he threw it, and he lit it. And they ran like hell across the bridge. Excuse my French. And then the bridge was in flames. Gordon runs back and he's like, to Rachel, he's like, man, I need buckets. And people were coming out like, what do you do when people have guns, right? Some of them gave their buckets because they were scared, not because they were sympathizing, but because they were scared, okay? So the Confederates were trying to put the bridge out, but it was a lost cause. It was engulfed, okay? And then the town of Wrightsville started burning. People's homes, their neighbors, their own houses were burning. So everybody came out with buckets, 2, 3 buckets, trying to put fires out. And Gordon's like, now you all show up with buckets, okay?
It was in their best interest.
It was in their best interest.
Because they're trying to save the house.
Trying to save
They're
their,
right. They're trying to
community.
save. Yes.
their
that's
livelihood, their lifestyle, whatever.
They're trying to save their community, basically.
Right. That's right. They weren't trying to help the Confederates. But if you look at York Side and Wrightsville, they're very southern style of living. I don't know why. It just could it have been when the Confederates were over there? Maybe. And they just adapted that lifestyle. Who knows? But in order to know if Gettysburg was inevitable, was it going to happen? Would the Union Army eventually caught up to General Lee? I don't know. But if it wasn't for the brave and heroic men of the militia that was here that went and burnt that bridge,